You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 8th day of May, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First live broadcast is private. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking our 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, you can do so by going to mytradingiq.com. And at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial. No credit card required. Just click the link, fill out the registration form. It's automated, so it's important that you fill things out properly so that we actually get it, so that we know you want to take a trial, so that we can get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating. Then the following day, your trial will actually begin. Doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you signed up for the trial. You'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. And when you take the trial, you not only get access to the live training room each day for 2 hours, but all the other resources that our passport holders have access to. We treat you just like a member for 5 consecutive trading days. You have access to everything with only one exception, and that is the members only workshop on Thursday night. But the alerts, the one-on-one mentoring, the weekly zones, everything is yours for 1 week, no credit card required. Now, when the live training room ends each day, we take a 30-minute break and we come back for the afternoon broadcast. That would be this one. Now, there's a couple different ways you can join the afternoon broadcast live. It is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Best way, because you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. Now, in that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. And there will be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do that too. I'm talking, of course, about our YouTube channel, which is very easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You've already got the YouTube part memorized, so really all you have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it is a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can really see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more, and just pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, watch some more, jump to another day. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity. It's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. Let's open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer. And we'll get into the markets. Started a new topic yesterday. What is God doing? I'm sure you've wondered that a time or two over the course of your life. Our scripture is 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 36 and 37. I'm sharing with you from the Message translation. And as you'll remember yesterday, we left Elijah in the cave where, after an earthquake, tornado, fire, he finally found God in a small whisper. So, here we go, verse 36. When it was time for the sacrifice to be offered, Elijah the prophet came up and prayed, "O God, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, make it known right now that you are God in Israel, that I am your servant, and that I'm doing what I'm doing under your orders. Answer me, God. Answer me and reveal to this people that you are God, the true God, and that you are giving these people another chance at repentance." Again, that's 1 Kings 18, verses 36 through 37 from the Message translation. Now, as we wonder, what is God doing? That's going to be followed by some asking. When you talk to God, what are you asking for? A lot of times we get frustrated because we're totally focused on something, asking God for answers or to do something for us, and it seems as if He's silent. Could it be that the problem is not with God, but is with whatever we're asking for? God's top priority is drawing people closer to Him. So if you're desperately seeking an answer to some big question, what's going to happen? Where should I go to school? God certainly wants to give you wisdom and help answer those questions. But perhaps He isn't going to immediately whisper in your ear the clear and simple answer you're hoping for. Maybe he's going to lead you into his word for answers, or have someone in your life speak some wisdom or encouragement, or draw you to spend more and more time with him as you wrestle with the issue. Also, sometimes we miss the voice of God because we're not asking for what God is most concerned about. Don't mishear me. God loves you and absolutely wants to hear everything that's important to you. But again, God's greatest priority is drawing other people closer to him. Now, we're going to read another story of Elijah where he asked God for something huge, a massive display of fire from heaven. This is not a small prayer. But what I want to focus on is the reason Elijah prayed this. He desperately wanted God's power to be seen by a massive group of people who had utterly forgotten who the real God was. This prayer of Elijah's was all about seeing other people come back to God. And that is a huge factor in why God gave the answer he did. When it comes to what you're asking God, is the priority God's glory being put on display? Are you asking God to make himself known to your friends or to draw you closer to him? Or are all your prayers focused on what will make your life more comfortable? If you feel like God is being oddly quiet, lean into him. Check the substance of your prayers. If you're asking for things that put the spotlight on God, you're much more likely to hear or see an answer. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this powerful example of Elijah. Lord, we thank you for the faith and boldness of Elijah as he called upon your name and witnessed your mighty power. Like Elijah, we acknowledge you as the one true God, creator of heaven and earth. We praise you for your sovereignty and your faithfulness, which endures forever. Lord, we pray for a spirit of boldness and faith to rise within us, just as it did in Elijah. Help us to trust in your power and to call upon your name with confidence, knowing that you are able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. In moments of doubt and uncertainty, may we remember the faithfulness of Elijah and the miraculous ways in which you have intervened throughout history. Strengthen our faith, Lord, and help us to stand firm on your promises, trusting in your goodness and your love. Lord, we lift up to you our needs and desires, knowing that you are able to meet them according to your will. Give us the courage to pray bold prayers and to step out in faith, believing that you are working all things together for our good and your glory. Thank you, Lord, for your faithfulness and your power. May we walk in the confidence of your love and the assurance of your presence each day. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen and happy Wednesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Sorry to say, we're still flat and sideways. The Dow is up 85 points, which for the Dow is not a lot. NASDAQ is down 39 points. Again, not a lot. S&P 500 is down 3.5. Russell 2000 is down 12. Pretty quiet. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 58 cents, trading 78.96 last. Gold is up $3.20, trading 23.2740 last. Silver up 14 cents, trading 27.68 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei fell 632 points, over 1.5%. Shanghai dropped 19. The Hang Seng fell 165, almost 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE posted a gain of 40 points. The DAX rose 68. The CAC gained 55. No movers, no shakers. So it was a red day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And it is at the moment a mixed Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. We got the Dow in the green, not by much, about 1/4 of a point. The NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell are in the red, not by a lot, but they are in the red for the moment. And all of that could change by the end of this broadcast, because the Dow is not deeply in the green and the other indices are not deeply in the red. So we'll see which way the market takes us between now and then. U.S. stocks tipped lower today as investors tried to read the rate cut runes and wait a fresh batch of earnings report for insight into the chance of a corporate America spurred revival. At the time this article was written, the Dow was actually in the red by about 50 points. The S&P was down 0.4%. The NASDAQ down about 0.6%. While stocks have notched a string of gains in recent days, the rally lost some steam as Federal Reserve policymaker Neil Kashkari signaled that rates are likely to stay at historic highs for a while. The Minneapolis Fed chief's comment that a hike isn't off the table either knocked hopes for an earlier easing in policy that had been buoyed by other Fed speakers. Fed officials Lisa Cook and Philip Jefferson are slated to speak today. Uncertainty about corporate earnings also gave some investors pause as the earnings season enters the final stretch. While techs have mainly delivered on high expectations, the focus is now on whether other sectors can match up. Today, Uber forecast for a key bookings metric missing the mark, dragging its shares down almost 7%. Shopify shares plunged as much as 19% after the e-commerce platform forecast its slowest quarterly revenue growth in 2 years. After Disney beat on earnings but still disappointed Wall Street, results from Fox are poised to claim attention. After the bell today, we'll get quarterly updates from AMC Entertainment, AMC, and Robinhood, HOOD. And everyone will be watching for signs of a meme stock-like surge. Now, the Boston Fed president, Susan Collins, became the latest Fed official to warn that interest rates were likely to stay high for longer than previously thought. She said the recent data led me to believe this will take more time than we thought. She was giving a speech at the Sloan School of Management at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She said there is no preset path for policy. Collins believes that improvements in supply chains that helped cool inflation quickly last year may not continue this year, and that slower economic growth will be needed to bring down demand and therefore inflation. Still, she remains optimistic that inflation can eventually be brought back to the Fed's goal of 2% in what she considers a reasonable amount of time, and with a job market that remains healthy, but getting weaker by the day. Other Fed officials this week have also shown they favor holding rates at current levels for longer. Well, that's all the news that's fit to print. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Now, the logic alerts are not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, silver, the euro, bonds. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 24/7. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. So our day session is their night session, and vice versa. With the logic alerts, this is one of your first educational tools along with the live training room. The purpose of the alerts is not so that you can just trade them and not worry about having to learn how to trade. I mean, why do all that work? No. Please understand, the purpose of the alerts are designed to help you learn how to read the chart. Once you learn how to read the chart and understand what it's telling you, then you can actually learn how to trade. And once you learn how to trade, you've gained a valuable life skill that no one can ever take away from you. Now, with the logic alerts, you get an entry price followed by an initial target. That's designed to give you enough to get your goal for the day. And then often a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth target. And then a final trade to target. If it's a long alert, the final trade to target will always be the weekly zone above. If it's a short alert, final trade to target will always be the weekly zone below. Now, all those additional targets come from me looking left for you to highlight potential obstacles to the trade, the entry, all the way to the final target. Now, each one of those additional targets, if it's along, the additional targets are called PR, potential resistance. If it's a short, the additional targets are labeled PS, potential support. And again, that comes from simply looking left on a long alert to spot previous swing highs, which can become current resistance. And if it's a short, looking left for previous swing lows, that can become current support. And so each target, you can look at it as a target, look at it as an obstacle. But the space between each target, whether it's the initial entry price to the initial target, once you pass that initial target, you've then got a window of opportunity to the next target. And if you overcome that target or obstacle, then you've got a window of opportunity to the next target. The best thing you can do is when a logic alert comes out, go to the 30-minute chart, even if you don't trade that market. Take a look at the entry price, draw a horizontal line on your 30-minute chart. Then draw a horizontal line at that initial target. And then draw a horizontal line at all the additional targets. What you'll have is a series of windows of opportunity. As long as price can overcome each obstacle, it will then attempt to go to the next obstacle. Again, that simply comes from looking left. If you're using the TradingView software, then you can even turn on the lines and you don't even have to look left. I encourage you, however, to still learn to look left, because you're trading on a range chart in TradingView. You always want to keep your eye on what's happening on the 30-minute roadmap chart. All the alerts, both the logic and the concierge trade alerts, are based on the 30-minute chart. We execute on a smaller time frame, a range chart, but the 30-minute gives you a bigger picture view of what's going on and will often clue you in to potential obstacles that you can't see on your range chart. We're in week 301. Over the last 301 weeks, we've issued over 16,600 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. At that time, we had a total, since the markets opened Sunday night, we've issued a total of 18 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of one. That gave us 17 actionable alerts, of which 6% would have been stopped out, again based on market structure and that simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, the number of alerts issued this week are down. We had about 50 in total for the week last week. But the markets have just been so flat this week. I don't put alerts out for entertainment purpose. I put them out to help you learn how to read a chart. And when the charts are flat, well, there's just not much to alert on. So that's why we're on a Wednesday at 18, but we're halfway through the week. If things change, we could easily end up at 50 or more by the end of the week. Now, long before we had Logic 247, we had our concierge trade alerts. And they're a little bit different in a couple different ways. Number one, they don't come out around the clock. They're posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Last night they got posted at 6:45. Globex opened at 6 p.m. I usually get them out about 6:10, 6:15, or I try to. But sometimes life prevents that. So last night they were posted at 6:45. Now, the first thing you want to do when the report is posted, or when you have your first chance to look at the report, you want to make a note on your 30-minute chart of the markets you trade where price is at the time the alert or the report is posted. It's always going to be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Now the BBC, that just stands for bull, bear, cross. When we go to the charts, it's the green line you'll see on my daily chart, on my 30-minute charts. Put it on any time frame, tick chart, range chart. Does the same job. If price crosses above the green line, then we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. If price crosses below the green line, then we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. BBC, bull, bear, cross. Really simple. Now, with the logic alerts, I look left for you so that you will learn how to do that. With CTAs, you get to look left yourself. This is the next step in you learning how to read the chart and getting you to the point where you become self-sufficient. Our goal for you is that you become self-sufficient. If your goal is to trade for a living, that'll never happen as long as you have to depend on someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You want to be able to look at a chart and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. So the CTAs are your chance to really start learning how to read that chart. Because you get to look left yourself to spot potential obstacles. On a long trade, it'll be previous swing highs. On a short trade, it'll be previous swing lows. And you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. We publish the zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. We've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. So we're closing in on 15 years. You'll learn over time how price behaves at a zone, and the zones will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. Just resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now, whatever you trade, whether it's the S&P or any other futures market or individual stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, if you'll learn to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you drop to the smaller time frames to actually start trading, you'll get an idea of what the deep pockets are doing. I'm talking about the institutional traders, the ones who trade in huge size, which literally moves price. The institutional traders are looking at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. What you're doing is, by looking at the daily chart, you're kind of looking over the shoulder of the deep pockets that actually move price. Now, our strategy and indicators aren't designed to outsmart the institutions with their infinite resources. Our strategy and our indicators are designed to help you see what price is doing and to understand it in the context of what are they trying to accomplish. Remember, price is always trying to do one of two things: break the previous swing high or the previous swing low. Doesn't matter what time frame you look at, doesn't matter what market you look at. Price is always trying to break the previous swing high or the previous swing low. Now, as we talked about yesterday, we've overcome this trend line, we've overcome the 62% fib extension, BBC, all of that which could have been good resistance. The area we talked about yesterday is this area here where the bearish cross took place. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. Okay? And so far that's what we got. Now we've got a pretty small daily candle compared to some of these previous daily candles. We've also had a lot of small range daily candles of late. Had one yesterday. High of the day was 52.26. The low of the day yesterday was 52.02. That's a 24-point range. Now, over the last 14 days, the daily range has been 66 points. Over the last 100 days, the daily range has been 52 points. So you can see our range so far today is about half or less than half of the 14-day ATR, and that's the default look back period. Now the step line is above the BBC. Blue and climbing is about to cross the BBC. That's all very bullish, okay? But price has to overcome this previous bearish cross. We've sort of come right up to it, and then we backed off. But we are off the low of the day. So if buyers are committed, the next obstacle is going to be this swing high, this swing high, this swing high, this swing high, and then the all-time historic high, which was put in on April 1st. Now, this retracement right here was the first 24% retracement we've had, going all the way back to October 27th of last year and beyond. Once we got above the BBC, you can see price always reverts to the mean. Okay? Pullback holds more often than not. Eventually, price will trade through. as it did on November 2nd, and as it did on April 4th. Now, November 2nd, when we traded above the BBC, we made a clean break. Following day, we opened and closed above the BBC, but that didn't happen here. In fact, after closing below the BBC, we ran right back up to it. And then we pulled above it, but we closed below it. We came down, we hit the 24. We found support at the 38% fib extension, which sent us to the BBC, which sent us down to blue and climbing, which now has us where we're at right now. A very quiet sideways week. Here's Monday, here's Tuesday, here's Wednesday. Below Monday, 51.55. The high of the week, 52.26. Quite a week. As I said, all alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Both the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts. These are the lines in the sand I spoke about. You can make your line in the sand look any way you want. But look how flat we were all night. Never really pulling away from the BBC. And now, this is what good trading looks like. Even yesterday, we had a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement, leg and a retracement and a leg. There was some movement. Today, we did get one move to the downside, which hit our short target, but we were never able to make it to the long target. This failed attempt right here is a huge sign of weakness. On this rally, we were unable to take out these highs or reach this high put in yesterday afternoon. So now we're below the BBC. We're right at the weekly trading zone. We have hit the short target once, now twice, but we're running into blue and climbing, which is potential support. If price continues lower here, this area right here, from 51.97 down to 51.93, that's a nice 4-point window of opportunity. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. On the Dow, again, just sideways last night. Finally this morning, we got a drop. Took us down to the CTA short target, pretty much to the tick. Now, this is Wednesday. Vertical line separates Tuesday. Back over here is Monday. On Monday, we had a bullish cross that led to an extended move. When price revisited the area of the bullish cross, if you look at the horizontal line on my cursor, you'll see it. Became good support. Okay. Same thing I was talking about on the daily chart. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. It got through the zone, it got through the BBC, and then it ran into yesterday's highs. And these are 30-minute candles. So for an hour and a half, we've attempted to break through yesterday's high and failed. We are above the BBC. We do have blue and climbing. But on this attempt, if price doesn't manage to get above these previous highs, then there's the potential that we roll over and head back down to the zone below. Keeping in mind, you've got a bullish cross right here. But it didn't lead to much of an extended. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night. When red and falling gets directly below price, it becomes potential support. And here you see it turning to blue, back to red. We did pull up to the BBC, and when that happens, we expect resistance. Price drops to the BBC, we expect support until proven otherwise. So down we come to the zone where we consolidate for 2 hours. When price reaches a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you'll find consolidation, 20% of the time you'll find rejection, 10% of the time slice. When price slices through a zone on the 30-minute chart like it's not even there, and it runs out of steam, what will typically happen is price will retrace back to the zone it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. That's a perfect example right there. Now, we've hit the short target, traded below the short target. The low of the day is these lows right here. Okay, Michael is here, so we'll turn it over to him. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And then after that, we'll complete this recap and wrap things up with our good word for the day. Whenever you're ready, Michael.
Coming over. Here it is. Here it is. All right.
Looks good.
Good. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of May, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, then all you have to do is go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here you're going to have this purple button. You click on that purple button, it's going to bring you to this page. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number, and then down here at the bottom, give us your Ninja Trader Machine ID or your Trading View login ID if you have it. Hit register. When you do that, we'll know that you took the trial, and we'll know what your stuff is, your IDs are, so we can enable your indicators for you. Okay, and get that going. Again, that's go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for the trial. All right, no credit card required for the trial. All right, today, we got the goal early on again today. Now, I want to point something out that's worth pointing out. Last year, when I starting up at 9:15 in the morning, it was in the middle of August. Okay, those of you guys who were paying attention, it was in the middle of August. And you see all these times right here, we've got one trade, just a few minutes, a couple of minutes to get the goal. Then I added on those 15 minutes. So adding on those 15 minutes there, more trades, more minutes, it made it a little tougher to get the goal. So those first 15 minutes didn't really benefit us all that much. It gave people in the live stream an opportunity to get in there a little bit earlier, and it gave all you guys to get an opportunity to get in there a little bit earlier. And I'm still trying to open the room up 15 minutes early, but I'm actually not getting in there until about 9:20, 9:25-ish, because the data has proven since I started doing that, just a few minutes, just a few trades to get the goal. So the data has worked itself out and proven that if I start between 9:20 and 9:25 as opposed to 9:15, it makes a difference. Anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 8th day of May 2024. We were down 16 ticks on the MQ, plus 26 on the Russell, plus 13 on the YM, and plus 6 on the ES. That put us at plus 190 on the morning session. Today it took 6 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,700. So we took a total of 15 trades. So on the month now, we're up $2,247. That is over 6 trading days, averaging $347 per contract per morning session. On the year now, we're up $35,982 over 87 business days, averaging $413 per contract per morning session. If you were to do the 24/20 blueprint and add 1 contract per month starting this year, so far this year, and quit trading when you get the goal for the day, if you did everything just like me so far this year, you would average $1,037 an hour. If you did it like me starting last year in January, you'd be at 17 contracts right now. It's the 17th month starting from last January. You'd be averaging $5,711 per hour. Okay, that's what I'm doing in the room. So far this year, we worked 32 hours 32 hours getting the goal on the year. We're almost halfway through the year. We work 32 hours. Actually, not really almost halfway. Yeah, I guess we are. Closer to halfway than a quarter way. Anyway, let's get into the trades now. Okay. We didn't have a ton of trades again today, but we had more than yesterday. We'll get in here. We'll start out with the YM. I believe that's where we got our goal today. It was. We got our goal today on the first trade on the YM. It was it this one right here? Yeah, I guess it was this one right here. We got 20 ticks on that, and then we got 10 ticks on that, and then we stopped with 10 ticks on that. That was my first mistake of the day. I don't know if it was a mistake. I just had a horrible entry on that. If I had a better entry, I wouldn't have stopped out. I'd have gotten the break even. But that put us at plus 30. I'm sorry, we went down to 20, then up to 30, then down to 20. I'm sorry, we're at plus 20 at that point. And we had a break even there, and nothing else. During the break, we didn't have a single trade that would, not a blue arrow trade anyway. So not a lot going on today. We do have a high impact news event tomorrow. We did have crude inventories come out today. I don't know how they came out, but they've been way off with their estimates on the crude. It's just like, for those of you who didn't see that, I went to mytradingiq.com and I went to more. And in here, I went to economic calendar. We have our own calendar in here. So today, the crude inventories, they were expecting they're expecting a draw of 1.43, and I got a draw of 1.36. So it was pretty close this time. The gasoline was off quite a bit, but that is what happened with the news today, right? So that was the YM. We didn't end up with anything else going on there with the YM. Now on the Russell, let's go back to the beginning here. Again, there's not a whole lot of trading going on here. You know, this really, really slow week right now. It's like summertime trading practically. Yeah, it's almost summertime. Our first trade here on the Russell, we picked up 7 ticks, and we had a break even, and then we had a 6 tick right there. And that was all we did with the Russell. Okay, we get in here during the break. There was a purple arrow there. Now remember, the purple arrows, they don't pay attention to the no trade zones. All right, they don't pay attention to the slingshot or the no trade zones. All they care about is that the black line is in the right color and the outer band is the right color. You pulled away from the BBC and back to the BBC. One of the things you need to, if you're using the purple arrows, I mean, again, there's only a select few of you guys who are using it right now, but if you are using the purple arrows, remember, you got to be coming off a higher or lower swing. That part of the trade rules in here, that part is always true, right? Entry rules for all trades on all platforms. They must come after a higher or lower swing, right? The long-term trend direction is going to be correct, so you know, because the outer band is going to be right. So we had one more blue arrow during the break, right? That was it on the Russell. We ended up with plus 13 on the Russell. Okay, on the ES, I think we only had the one trade right there, and we got 6 ticks profit on that. And look at the leg length on that, right there to right there, then right here to right there. That was a pretty sweet leg length right there. I watched this one. As this was coming together, we were talking about the leg lengths. This was part of the lesson plan, actually, when I was talking about the leg lengths today. As this was coming together, and I was saying how deep this pulled back, as it got down below that. I said, if it gives us a green arrow, it's not going to be a very good green arrow because it's pulled back so deep. That's what I was looking at. And we walked through the whole thing. We didn't get any more blue arrows during the break. We had this one purple arrow right here that did not work out very well. Okay, right into the zone, did not work out. And that was it with the ES. We had the one trade. Now on the NQ, bring my question box up here. The question box, and I got to bring up the YouTube stuff too. I always forget that YouTube is already running when I get in here. Let's go to YouTube. CFR. Is, and we'll bring that up and click on the live. And should be able to see all the questions in here. I guess, you know what, I'm coming in as another ID, so I can't see the questions actually. Is that normal? I don't know. I can't see anything Dwayne typed in either on YouTube. That's kind of weird. Anyway, the NQ. We had the most trades on the NQ again today, but we didn't end up positive on the NQ. We stopped out in the beginning on the NQ. Our first trade was a stop out on the NQ. There it is. Okay. Again, these purple arrows looking pretty sweet right here. Purple arrows looking really nice right there. We had a blue arrow there. Now, a lot of times the blue arrows and the purple arrows, they're pretty close to the same thing. All right. The blue arrow happens when it comes out of the oversold. The purple arrow doesn't care about the oversold. It doesn't care about the slingshot at all. But right here, what stopped that from being a purple arrow? It actually should have been a purple arrow, it looks like. It came down, it bounced off the ribbon. The outer band was blue. That should have been a purple arrow right there too. I don't know why it wasn't. This one over here, I know why, because the outer band was white. This one should have been a purple arrow too. Anyway, we had a blue arrow there, a blue arrow there. We got break evens on those couple of trades. And then purple arrow there, and then we finally stopped out right here. That was a valid stop out. There was nothing I could do about that. Minus 20 ticks, and that's where we started on the NQ, was a minus 20. We got 4 ticks profit on this one, and this, I don't know. This might have been the one that we were looking at during the lesson plan, where it pulled back so deep. This right here was what we're looking at. It pulled back beyond the midpoint of that. The midpoint of that would have been right in here, and pulled back really deep on that. I did take it and I got 4 ticks profit, but then it pulled back just enough to stop you out if you didn't take the profit on it. Pulled back just enough to stop you out, or maybe not, depends where your entry was. Gave a blue arrow in here that I didn't get, and then we get into the just about the break. I took a couple of trades right here. Now, this one was a valid trade that I got to break even on. This one was not a valid trade. I shouldn't have taken this trade at all. So I had a couple of mistakes that I got away with today. That was one of them. This is what I was talking about earlier. You should have the blue and purple arrow on the same spot on that one thing. But you had the purple arrow there, which is nice. You had another one right there, which is good. The blue arrow was also good. This is during the break. You had a green arrow there, which was good. This green arrow, the outer bands are kind of flat to want to take that. If you did take it, it went enough to get the stop to break even. Purple arrow. The deal with the purple arrows, if you get them in the first bar after it doesn't close in the direction of the trade, usually it's not going to work out. This one did, but this one right here is a perfect example of it not working out when that happens. We have a purple arrow right here. I mentioned it. One of the things that I set up this morning, I don't remember if you guys remember, on the soybeans, I set up an alert. It doesn't look like any of them triggered. One right here at 12:01. We had it on the 3 range. You guys remember that? Any of you guys that were in there this morning, anyway. I set up a purple arrow on the 3 range just to illustrate that you don't have to have the chart up that that you set the alert on for it to trigger. It's going to trigger no matter what you have. We had a purple arrow down here at 11:45. We had another purple arrow right here at 12:01. I don't know why that one it's different. This is an NQ one. That's what it is. This is an NQ one, and this is a soybean one. But the thing that I was trying to illustrate with that was that I set the alarm and the alert, and once you set the alert is active, right? Until you cancel it, it's active. You can go to a different chart. You can log completely off. That alert is going to be active. So if you have it sending you a message, on your phone or whatever, it's going to send you that message. Okay, that's kind of what I want to illustrate. All right, so it's now 101. Let's jump into live stream. Well, I'm in the live stream, but let's start trading live for the live stream. Before I do that, let's go here and say, if you have not taken a trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here, click on the purple thing, and that's going to bring you to this registration page where we ask for your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, if you have TradingView, give us your login ID. If you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. Okay, that's all we need for that. Now, yeah, that's how you take a free trial. There's no credit card required for the trial. Okay. All right, and the recap. On the day, we're up $109 a contract, minus 16 on the NQ, plus 26 on the Russell, plus 13 on the YM, plus 6 on the ES. Took us 6 minutes and 1 trade this morning to get the goal. On the month, we're at $2,247 over 6 business days, averaging $374 per contract per morning session. On the year, $35,982 over 87 business days, averaging $413 per contract per morning session. So far this year, we've traded 32 hours trying to hit our goal for the day. Okay, 32 hours trying to hit our goal. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, following the 24/20 blueprint, so far this year, you would have averaged $1,037. You'd be up 5. You'd be at 5 contracts right now, averaging $1,037 an hour. If you did it like me, starting in January of last year, you'd now be at $5,711 an hour. Right, same 32 minutes, just 17 contracts instead of 5. All right, so let's get into the trades. We don't have any. Yesterday afternoon, I did an intro to the TV Trades webinar. It's right here. If you want to go to Target View Trades, you can see a copy of the webinar right here. It's right here in this button right here. This is the whole thing, 55 minutes. If you want to see that, you can. I go over a lot of stuff in there that I answered a bunch of questions and went over the basics. All right, so speaking of that, let's go out here and see what's going on with Bitcoin today. Okay, so Bitcoin yesterday had a red candle and it's making its way down, and that's what we expect. We want it to get, well, we don't really want it to go down, but I expect it's going to go down. That's Bitcoin, and let's look in here. So your Exxon gave you the morning trade right here, good for $1, and now it's gone sideways, coming back down. And I'm curious if you do this on an hourly, or even a daily. I'm wondering if the dailies are where the open and the close are usually pretty close to the same number. Not really. Okay, I was just curious because usually the open is going to give you a little bump and then it starts going down and recovers. I mean, it gives it back. But that's okay. That is Exxon Mobil. Which, by the way, is the cheapest gas around here right now. All right, now I can see everything you typed in, Dwayne. I can see it a few minutes ago. All right, so we don't have any trades here right now. It's 1:05, so we have 25 minutes left in this session. And everybody that I have meetings with this afternoon, it's a purple ribbon touch without the sling. Yeah, the purple ribbon doesn't use the slingshot at all, Daniel. I'm not sure if you're listening in here. I don't know. Let me go see if you're in here. You are in here. Yeah, the purple doesn't have anything to do with the slingshot right now. Okay. It's just, it looks at the outer band to make sure that's the right color and the black line to make sure it's in the right color. Right? That means that price cannot touch the black line. It's got to touch the ribbon, but not the black line. Okay, that was one of the filters that we built in after last week's partners meeting. So the next filter I'm going to build in is going to have something to do with the slingshot, but it's going to be if you get a long trade, the black line in the slingshot is going to have to be higher than the bar before it. And if you get a short trade, the black line in the slingshot is going to have to be lower than the bar before it. Okay. One thing I'm not sure about, and it might knock some trades out, is if it goes sideways, like if it's oversold and it goes sideways a couple of times like that, and you happen to get a purple when it's like that. I don't know if that's gonna knock any trades out. You have to go back and look at that over and over and over again. Most of these are not gonna have that adjustment that I'm gonna make. It's only gonna affect 1 or 2 a day, I think. Everyone so far, the black line is going in the right direction, so it's unusual for it to be not going in the right direction. See, everyone that I looked at so far has been going in the right direction. There's one. Right there, it's gone flat on that one. That one right there. It's going in the wrong direction on that one. You see what I mean? This is the kind of stuff you guys can do and say, hey, there's one right there that's going in the wrong direction. And so far, it would have knocked out. There's one right there that's going in the wrong direction. They're going flat. That's the right direction. That's the right direction. That's not really the right direction. It's sideways. Wrong direction. Right direction. So far, of the ones that are actually physically going in the wrong direction, 2 out of 3 of them stopped out. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking at. You like the purple-blue combo, James? Right here. You get both of them. You know, the only difference with that is that it's coming out of the slingshot. The outer bands, you know, you're not in a no trade zone, which is 1, and it's coming, the slingshot is working, it's coming out of the oversold. That's the difference, the main difference there. That is the main difference. Remember, this is only looking, it doesn't care if you're in a no trade zone, it's only looking at the color of this and that the black line is in the right color. It's got to be in, I mean, it can't be in the silver, it's got to be in the right color. It's got to be in the green for a long or the red for a short. And that's what makes the blue arrow, is the black line's in the right color. The other thing that makes the blue arrow is you're coming out of the oversold, and you can't be in a no trade zone for the blue arrow. So this, you know, the blue arrow's got a few more restrictions. But if you get the combo, you know, it's basically a blue arrow with the outer band in favor, is what it is. So that is a really good, really, really high probability thing, James. If you get all that together, the blue arrow with the outer band in favor, that's a super high probability trade. So you liking that is good. That's, you know, this one right here. Most of those are going to work out really well like that. And, you know, when you get those, they should be, you'd think they'd be more frequent than they actually are. But a lot of the blue arrows, when it pulls back, the outer band changes color on you. That's the thing. So I hear my son outside mowing the lawn. You know, when they did the fiber optic yesterday, they just laid it across the lawn. They're gonna come back and bury it within 2 weeks, they say. So I'm hopeful. All right. The fiber optic guy just texted me because he wanted to be in that webinar I did yesterday. He and his son. They both want to be in the webinar I did yesterday. It's funny when he came into my house and he looked out. You know, the back window just looks, these back windows are big, you know, like 2 stories high. And it's the only one where you really, the only one in our neighborhood where you really get to see the field and everything behind. So, wow, you have a big backyard. It's funny. No, I'm actually, I stuck with the T-Mobile for in here. I'm getting a new modem for my computer today. I think the modem might have slowed it down, but it was not working as well as it is everywhere else in the house. You know, getting some places 900, you know, side by side. Some places 600, 400. But in here, I was not getting the fiber optic speed that you would think, because it's wireless in here, and this is kind of I'm farther away in here. But, all right, so we're looking at this to pull back up and test the ribbon, and that's the only trade we have potential here on the NQ. and we are testing ribbon. We need a down close on this. It'll give us a blue arrow, at least a blue arrow on this. It could give a purple arrow too. Nope, it's got to come out of the overbought to give you the blue. It didn't give a purple because the outer band is the wrong color, but it's got to come out of the overbought for a blue. But that's still a valid trade right there. Right, it's still a valid trade. You don't need to have it come out of the overbought. That is right in here. If you go to trade rules, that's a short without the slingshot. This one here. Short trade without the slingshot. Black line ribbon must be on top and in the red, and price must touch the ribbon on the pullback. So it did all that. That's a short trade without the slingshot. So I'm going to have to update these rules now that I have more stuff. Okay, that one did not work out so well either. We want to see it come out of the overbought right here. This is going to be a green arrow now because it's pulled back so far. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to take that green arrow, and I just did, and here it is. Okay, so we anticipate it's going to get down to this level right here. Now, what I was going through in the lesson plan today, guys, it's going to be 8 ticks into profit. I'll let the stop to break even. It almost hit 8 right there. What I was going through in the lesson plan today, I'll show you in just a second, is the pullback should be proportional to the leg length on the way down. Right? We did leg lengths today. And so if you were to, I'll just do it anyway while we're waiting for that to work. This is the leg length right here. Okay, that's the leg length. This is the perfect spot for it to pull back to. Stop to break even on this. Stop to +4 on that. This is a perfect spot for it to pull back to. It's a 50% retracement. Perfect spot for it to pull back to. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Have you looked at fiber optic? You can't really splice that. I don't know how they do it. Oh, I'm going to watch them when they come next time, if I can be outside. Okay. See, it's funny. This guy, the fiber optic guy, when he stopped in, he was talking to me, and he's local. He's from the town, and he started telling us about his daughter, and she went to NC State in the same program that Macy's in, and she just graduated, and she's working in Manhattan, and he's got contacts for her. So he said he's going to stop by tonight. He just texted me he's going to stop by tonight. Get Macy's resume. All right, so I ended up with a break even on that. And let's see. So we don't have any other trades right now. No trade zone, no trade zone, no trade zone, and we're just going sideways here. Okay. All right. So we're waiting right now. What time is it? It's 1:15. We still have 15 minutes left, and we get another trade. We ended up with a break even on that one, but it didn't put in a lower swing, and nothing else is trending right here. Let's go look at other stuff. Okay, let's look at other stuff in here. Let's look at Mr. Remember when I was completely off on the 30-minute chart? When I was going for the earnings on the 30-minute chart? Back here. I think it was back here. And no, it wasn't back there. It was back here. This is where it was. I was going for the earnings on a 30-minute chart. And I was saying, I expect they're going to get up to this level. This is the leg length that it should do on the way up. Right, for Mr. And you guys know I did leg lengths today. Take that leg length and stick it over here. And look what it did before, after that. When the earnings were horrible. You can see that the earnings were horrible. And it moved way down there. And it eventually came back up. This right here, if we extend this out to the right, that way. You extend right down like that. That's what I was thinking it was going to get up to before. It still hasn't gotten up there. Okay, but this right here is a head. This is a shoulder. This is the other shoulder. So this, when we get another long trade, is what it should get up to. This level right up here. Okay, and that's based on the stuff that we had back here. So Ronnie, if you're watching now, I don't know if he's watching right now. He's not. but he actually bought calls. Well, he did a spread before, so he ended up okay. But he bought calls before when I was saying this right here. They did appreciate in value just a little bit right at the beginning, but then they just expired worthless after we had the earnings come out, and they were horrible. But it's recovering. And so gave a short in here, gave a long trade here. That was perfect. Gave a short trade here. That was also very good. And so now I would anticipate when we get the next long trade, I would anticipate it's going to get up to this level right here, whatever that level is. I can't see. Hang on.
Shopify had a big drop today.
1431. Shopify did. Let's go look at that, because that was on my list of things. Let me show you in here. The Motley Fool's top 10 at the beginning of the year. Shopify was one of them, and it'd be interesting to look at that right now in the 30-minute. Yeah, a huge gap down. Look at that gap. That's a 10% gap, almost 15. Wow. Yeah, that's a big gap down. It's gonna make some of that up. I was thinking, the news coming out of the companies this past week is most of them. Everybody's missing. Bionomics. Let's see if you go back to January. Go back to January. Wow. Okay. So let's crunch it up and we'll go a little faster back to January, March, April. Here we go. Go back to the beginning of January. Here it is. So the Motley Fool stuff that I was just showing you. Now I was referring to this. All this stuff came out at the beginning of January, right? Top 10 stocks Motley Fool for January 2024. And they nailed it. And Shopify was one of them. And in here, if you look at our stuff, we got a long trade right here. Just look at the Shopify, all the things that they had. If you look at all the things that they had, the Shopify gave you a long right here that ran all the way up here. And it just kept running and running after a little while. If you had a bias on the trades, which you're probably going to do because you're not going to be shorting the stocks for the most part. So if you're only looking at the longs, shut that off. And so there was a long there, another long there, another long there, another long there, another long here. Now this one went into profit some before it came back down to hit the stop level. Actually, it never did hit the stop level. The stop's down here. So it never did hit the stop level. The long here. And every long trade it gave up until that last one where I said something about it. Actually, this one didn't go so well. And this one didn't go so well. All right, so then it started getting sideways. What month was this? Oh, this was this month. Well, March. I guess it's not May. That's March. All right, so you can see right here it started to drop, and the long trades weren't looking so good for a little while there, but it still nailed them into right here. The one that really let us down was the one that I said. I didn't do it on Shopify. It was that's right. It was Mr. that I said that. But yeah, it ran up from here. This last one on the 1st of May, and it ran up from 71.71 up to 77.74. So it ran up $7, 10%, $6, almost 10%, and then it dropped 15%. I don't know what it looked like here on go to a daily. What's that look like? Okay, on a daily, we're down here, which is where it found support before. The last gap up was up to here currently, where it is, I think. And I don't know, I think it's going to find support there. It might drop down to fill that gap up down to here, down to 48, probably 50, something like that. But I think it's going to find support. I don't know. We'll see. I don't look at Shopify all that often, but it did nail a bunch of things. And Shopify is probably not the only one that's down so much. And if you go out here to our website and go to the homepage on the website, and right here, I think, go to percent change, not up but down. Here we go, percent change. I don't know how far over this is looking, but earnings this week. Let's just look at the earnings this week. I'm gonna look at top losers here. There we go. So top losers, TCMI, DV, Shop's got to be in there somewhere. There it is, shop. Minus 19.92%. That's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's in the top loser list, in the top 20 of the top losers. Any of these other ones, any big ones? What's that? I don't know. Uphold. Uber. All right, let's look at the other way. Let's look at the top gainers. Anything we know on the top gainers? That one looks familiar. That looks familiar. Oh, some pretty good gains today. I don't know what this one is right here. It's up 90%. Reuben. What is that? Reborn Coffee. What do they have for volume? Reborn Coffee. Purple hour short on the soybeans. The soybeans just gave us a purple hour short. Oh, a few minutes ago. Let's look at that over here. Reuben. That was a symbol. REBN. And volume 100 million in volume. Wow. Okay, let's look at that here and see what it did. REBN. Oops, N. Reuben. Reborn Coffee. It's on the NASDAQ. There it is. Now let's look at it on a different time frame to see if we had any kind of a notice before it did that. This is a 1 minute. So on a 1 minute chart, yesterday afternoon, it was given a long trade right in here. This morning, it gave a long trade right here on a 1 minute chart. That would have been the spot right there at 10 o'clock. And you had the gap up right here, but it didn't give you a signal. Since yesterday, it gave you that one. This morning, it gave you this one. And if you hit replay on that, you'll see what it said as far as the stop and target and all that. All right, the stop was 16 cents, 17 cents, and the long entry was 367.99, and the first target was 407. If we put the risk reward on that, it's going to be multiples, I think. Yeah, 2.29 was the risk reward on that. At that point in the day, 2.29 was the risk reward on that. If we shut that off, actually say no, and we go forward a little here. I see that shut it off because I don't know how to do that, but so that was the first signal, was right there, and then it gave another one right here. So if we hit replay and go back here, and we'll see what it said on that one. It said the risk reward on that again was 2.29. That's weird that it's the same risk reward. All right, it's the same stop. Something's weird about that. Something's not right. Let me shut that off for a second. Let's see. Okay, so the current one is. Did I put it at the same spot? This was the original one. Okay, yeah, it was the same spot. This was the original one over here. Okay, I didn't put it at that one. Put it here. There we go. So the risk reward on that was 0.85. You were risking 4 cents. But it wasn't giving you much for a target either from there, from right here. So that one didn't give you much to go on. But once it started moving and you had the second opportunity to enter, right here. That was a good one. And this is the current one right now. It's working off of this right now. The entry is 329. Your stop is going to be 4 cents on this one right now. Okay. And the first target is 340 right here. Here's your first target. So again, I know I just went completely off down a rabbit hole and all that. But that's how you use it if you want to with equities. You just turn it on, and I didn't have any of the other filters on here. Well, there's only one filter you can put on, this one. I didn't have that on, and if I do, it takes away all the trades. But that's really not for stocks so much as it is for, I think it even says it in here. No, it doesn't say it there. Does it say it in here? Well, it says the rule anyway. If it's above this, it's a simple moving average. If it's above that, it's not going to show longs. If it's below it, it's not going to show shorts. That's if you turn it on. Okay. I wonder if we gave any shorting opportunities in here today. One right there. Anyway, that is that one. Let's look at a shop on the 1 minute, like we're looking at this. Let's see what it gave today for opportunities. Let's get rid of the shorts. Okay, we'll get rid of the shorts. Just look here at the longs. So this was it this morning, right? It started out way up here, way up there. And yesterday afternoon, it gave a long right here. It gave a little bit right at the end of the day. Let's have a whole bunch of sideways action here in the 1 minute chart yesterday. A whole bunch of sideways action yesterday, leading up to it. This is the day before yesterday. Interesting. We got it on the 15 range, which is, what you guys, a $72 stock. I wouldn't want to do that on the 15 range. Probably do that on the 50 range. So every bar is 50 cents. So here, with every bar being 50 cents, they gave this long trade a little while ago. They really didn't go anywhere yet. It hasn't stopped out yet either, I don't think. The last long trade was back here. This one here, yesterday. The stop on that would have been right here. And this long trade back here was actually the 2nd of May, it was a couple days ago. Interesting. Doesn't have that much volatility. Anyway, I talked through the whole thing. I got completely in a rabbit hole there. Sorry about that. If you haven't taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com right here. Okay, go to mytradingiq.com and click the purple button. When you click that purple button, you will be brought to this registration page where all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have a trading view, give us a trading view login ID. If you have a ninja trading view, give us a ninja trading machine ID. Now, trading view login ID, when you hover over whatever it is that you have in the corner like this, for me it says logged into CFRN. For you, it's going to say something else. That's what you need to give to us, all right? To get it working here, to get our indicators working for you, get our indicators indicating for you on trading view. Okay. But Jim, there was another one right here. There's that same one. Now we had this one back here, right? And then we had this one right here. Yeah, that's what you're just telling me. Okay, the purple blue combo on the NQ. There it was. Basically, that should almost always be a really good trade because it's telling you that the outer bands. You get a blue arrow trade, which is a highest probability trade with the outer band being the same, being the right color. That's what that's right there. Okay, so it's like doubling up on the blue arrow, making it better. That's one of those ones where you would, if you're trading 5 contracts, you see that 10 contracts. If you could, if you want to. It's that good of a probability. Anyway, I reached the end of my time and I have a whole bunch of meetings coming up, so I can't run over. If you have not taken a free trial, I think I just told you this, but go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. No credit card is required for the trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page, fill out the form, and that's it. All right. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. So I don't know. I don't think this is Dwayne, but it's 2 phone calls in a row that I'm getting from Phoenix, Arizona. Dwayne, that's not you, is it?
Nope, not me.
Okay, well, I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. In Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Okay, if you are ready.
I'm ready. Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 6 minutes and 1 trade to get to $1,700.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll pick up where we left off. We were on the Russell, and this is where we opened last night below the BBC, and we had red and falling. We did pull up to the BBC, and the pullback held. Whether you're pulling from above or below, pullback holds. more often than it doesn't. So now, blue and climbing, or blue and sideways, has turned red on us. We're below the BBC, so another drop may be in the making. Something like 2054 down to, it's a little tight. Might let price get below here and go 2050 down to the zone at 2048. That might be the better opportunity. All right, on the NQ, here's reopen, flat, flat, and more flat until we made the drop this morning down to the short target, and we traded through the zone, and then we found support based off this low put in on Monday. Support will send the market looking for resistance, which it found at the weekly trading zone, and resistance will send us looking for support, which it found briefly at the BBC. Pullback holds more often than not. Now we're below the BBC. So if blue and climbing hooks over and turns red, then I would expect a retest of the low of the session, and then everything you need to know is right over here. That right there be a good target. Okay, on crude, this is where we opened last night, below the BBC with red and falling overhead, and it basically just took us right down to the target, and then it continued down through the zone. Now again, we sliced through a zone on the 30-minute chart, and price retraced to the zone it sliced through and continued in the direction of the slice and found support at this zone. Support sent us to resistance at the BBC. Resistance sent us to support at blue and climbing. And blue and climbing has taken us all the way up across this zone to this zone. And today's high. Yesterday's high was 79.17. Today's high is 79.15. So again, a sign of weakness. And as you can see, the step line has crossed blue and climbing. We're sitting right on top of this zone. But most likely, we'll see a retracement now back to the BBC. Step line crosses blue and climbing, or red and falling. Typically leads to a retracement to the BBC. Gold, here's where we open. Drop to the short target. And our low spiked this low right here by just a little bit. That sent us back up to the zone, resistance. Resistance sent us back down to the zone, support. And then back up to the zone, resistance. So gold has been kind of active, but it's all been inside of these two zones. This zone's 2329/30. This is 2311/12. And right now, we've pulled back to the BBC, but got potential resistance right overhead. So 2328 up to 29, that would give you your goal for the day. Or 2319 to 2318, that would give you your goal for the day. Silver, here's where we open, drop through the short target, down support. Buyers came in a little bit early, drove us all the way up to the long target, back to the short target, back to the long target. Step line is crossed. We've pulled back to the VBC. Now today's high failed to take out these highs from yesterday. So we'll see. We haven't pulled all the way back to the VBC, but if we do, that would be an opportunity for buyers to come in and push us higher. On the euro, we opened here. Got a drop enough to get your goal for the day. Retracement to the BVC. Pullback held. Drop to support at blue and climbing. And then we've just gone sideways, above the BBC, below, above, below, above, below. That is not fertile trading soil. When you get that kind of sideways movement, it's best to go find a different market. And on the daily, it looks pretty much like it did when we began the broadcast. Not a whole lot has changed. We're talking about the bearish cross, potential resistance. I really think you can argue we did get up to it. So the question now is, will we find support at the step line, which is right at the 62% fib extension? Blue and climbing and the BBC are right there. And then you got that trend line. Then the 50% fib extension. And these lows, then the 38, and this low, which was put in April 19th. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have any questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders fail simply because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. That's why we put so much emphasis on our live trading room, 2 hours every trading day. It's an interactive environment. So you're not only watching trading in live markets, but you're trading along in your demo account so you can qualify to go live. And you're asking every question that pops into your head. If you do that, within a couple of weeks, you'll basically run out of questions. Because the strategy is that simple. Along with the live trading room, as a passport holder, you have access to one-on-one private mentoring, strategy you learn, and the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, weekly trading zones, and you're able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, at one low price. Let's wrap up today with our good word for the day. Our topic is you can have peace of mind. Psalm 29:11. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Everybody wants peace of mind. Whether you're a business person facing the pressure of deadlines, a homemaker trying to round up kids, or a student trying to make it through the university term, everyone wants peace of mind. Most of us experience more stress than peace. How acquainted are you with stress? Here's a little quiz. Complete each of these sentences with the appropriate word. I'm ready to throw in the, most people would say, towel. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm just a bundle of nerves. My life is falling apart. I'm at my wits' end. I feel like resigning from the human race. How'd you do? If you answered towel, rope, nerves apart, end, and race, give yourself an A+. Most of us have muttered these words so often that they're almost second nature. Stress is a regrettable fact of life in our contemporary world. Sales of sedatives are at an all-time high, and books on peace of mind become immediate bestsellers. We are warned that too much stress is unhealthy. So what else is new? We've understood that for centuries. Thousands of years ago, Solomon wrote in Proverbs 14:30, "A heart at peace gives life to the body." We know about stress, but where can we go to find peace? The answer is God. Here's two promises. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace. Philippians 4:6. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.